Hey everybody, Andrew the Realtor here, and I'm here with my October 2022 Willowdale East and Newtonbrook East housing market update. Now, a few of you in the area might have seen me around. I'm a realtor. I'm fairly busy in North York and a lot of Central Toronto, really. And more specifically, recently in Willowdale East and a little bit of Newtonbrook East. And those of you who know, I have been doing housing market updates for years now. My clients have loved them, and it's more of a general GTA kind of market update. But most recently, because I've been spending time in Willowdale and Newtonbrook, great areas for many reasons. I'm not going to go into all of them here. If you live there, you know what I'm talking about. I wanted to update you specifically because I find that it's a bit of a different market than a lot of other ones, and I'm going to show that here. So I'm going to be doing these once a month. I'll continue to do these once a month. I'll give you some information on how you can get subscribed on the list. And again, I only do real estate. I don't bother people. I won't be sending you recipes or anything of that nature. In fact, I probably won't mention any of that here. Have a quick look. So let me get out of this, minimize myself real quick, and we're going to go right into the actual housing market update in order to keep this a little bit shorter, or as short as I possibly can. So these are the actual numbers, not the Toronto Real Estate Board, not the whole GTA, but specifically Willowdale East and Newtonbrook East. And here, one of the main points, and you'll hear this on the news and such, by the way, you take all of that with a grain of salt, is the number of properties sold is way down. That's across the board, and certainly is the case for this area. So you're looking at, we sold in September of 2021, 156 properties, all different, condo, apartments, condos, detached, the whole bit. Obviously there's quite a bit of that in the area. And September of last month, we only sold this much. It's similar numbers are going up this year. Obviously when we finish October, I'll have the numbers, and in November you'll get the October numbers. So interestingly, obviously the sales are way down. So roughly a third, basically. So it's down 64%, roughly a third of the sales last year. Now, please keep in mind, as those of you who've seen my other GTA market updates, 2021 was a record year. So we can't really compare. It has to be apples to oranges, and these are definitely not apples to apples. 2021 was a crazy year, record month after record month in terms of sales. And of course, the year was a record number of sales for the Toronto Real Estate Board. Huge, way higher than the year before. So the point is, this September was a lot more normal, and certainly a lot less sales than September of 2021. Interestingly, average price, and this is Willowdale specific, I must remind you, the average price generally actually went up. Now we'll see why that is, because I'll mention the specifics and the types of properties. But that's actually better than a lot of the GTA. Most of the GTA actually went down a little bit. Not a huge number. I think it was 4%. I don't recall, because I've been studying these numbers recently. But the important point is that Willowdale Newtonbrook doing particularly well. And of course, specifically on the east side, because things on the west side do tend to differ a little bit. Market activity, months of inventory is just under 2. It's not a good market for much of anything, but I always include it here because it does get included with the overall statistics. So new listings down 42.4%. So we listed in September 42% less new properties on the market than September of 2021. So you take that number, the 42% lower, and you take this active listings number, which is only 15% lower, and you can tell where all the sales went. I mean, that's a huge difference. The point being, last year we had 245 active listings in the area, and new listings 262. Well, where's 262 to 245? Huge turnover. A lot of sales. Whereas this year, less sales, so we have only a little bit less active listings and a lot less new listings. So things are moving slower. And here's the other important point here. Average property days on market, the difference being listing days on market. Listings get relisted. You might have seen that. The same sold sign is on, but suddenly it says on the market only a week. Wait a second, it's been on the market a month. That's because it's a new listing. But the property specifically, on average, in 2021 was on for 23 days. And the average, of course, this September of 2022 is 36, up more than half of the number of days on market last year. So I'm gonna mention that something specific, because I want give you value every time you actually watch one of these videos, and you're gonna catch it right here. I'm gonna give you some very valuable stuff if you live in the area, especially, but if you're looking to move into the area, even more so. So interesting point here. I'm gonna stress this a little bit more. Detached down last month versus September of 2021, down 8.5%. Now that's not huge, admittedly, but it is down. And I mentioned that specifically, I emphasize that, because look at the rest. Semis, there were no semis that sold in September of last month. Well, frankly, in Willowdale and Newtonbrook, there's not a lot of semis. I actually had one on the market earlier this year. Not that many. That one is actually still on the market. And the fact is that there's so many semis. Townhomes are, check this out, townhomes up 14%, condo up almost 6%. Interestingly, so detached way down, not way down. Forgive me for exaggerating. Down 8.5, but way down versus this. So that's what, 22% difference, give or take. I know that's an exact math, and of course about 14% difference here. Here's what that means, generally speaking. Let me tell you about the prices in general. And I mentioned this. This is a stat from August, a couple of market updates ago. But I mentioned this specifically because at this point we're about 20%, give or take, average price lower than we were in January, February of this year, as many of you probably noticed. At that time, we were at the absolute peak of the market, as you can tell here, down from the beginning of 2014 all the way to the height of the market this year in January, February, and a little bit of March of 2022. And of course, it went down. This is where we're in August. We're roughly in the same area here. Now, there's a possibility of interest rate increases this month, the 26th of October, and I believe either December, towards the end of the year, or the beginning of next year. The idea is, if we get more interest rate hikes, there's a possibility that this flattening that is currently happening with the market might either continue, or maybe it might even dip a little bit. But it won't be much, and it won't be long-lived. You can quote me on that. I've gotten that from good sources and just looking at the way markets have been. But the reality is, especially for those people who have been thinking of either entering the market or upsizing, they're waiting for the markets of specific areas to drop. Here's the reality. If we're down here, even if we drop another 5-ish% or so, we're still at the same prices of 2021. So for those speculating the market is going to drop, the collapse, the tumble, all the usual buzzwords that are used in the media, we already had it. Here's the biggie. We're not going to get bigger tumble than that. That's a huge tumble. That's 20% or over. As some of you have noticed, obviously homes that we're selling in January, February, those same kinds of homes right now are on the market for quite lower prices. In fact, some of them are sitting in the market. That's what I want to address to you guys specifically now. So, quick summary of what I've been talking about. So, overall sales, even though they're lower, in 2022 compared to 2021, I'll be way lower. But if you compare it to a normal year, like say 2018, for example, generally speaking, 2018, which was not really a slow year, as I mentioned here, it's really more of a moderate year. That's what this is going to be. In fact, that's where we're going to be now. I believe in 2018 we're around 78,000 sales for the year, and I think we're going to be somewhere in the mid-70s, probably to low mid-70s this year as well. Point being, there's still plenty of homes being sold. On average, we're selling between 150 to 160 homes, generally speaking, in the GTA, and of course, that number goes way, way lower when we're talking about Willowdale and Newtonbrook. So expecting an interest rate increase of maybe 0.5 or 0.75% on October 26th. So waiting for this one, and we're not quite there yet. If that goes up, obviously interest rates will play a role in people's interest. But please believe me, for much of it is more of a psychological role than actual numerical role, because the difference is not, I don't want to be insensitive, but it's not life-changing differences per se. For those who are very close, paycheck to paycheck, and they're already having a difficult time, absolutely. But in many cases, that is not necessarily the case for owners in Newtonbrook and Willowdale, so that's probably something different. So the reality is, yes, the interest rates are probably going to go up this month in October, and probably at least another jump sometime in the beginning of next year. At that point, then that will probably put more pressure on the demand of the market, and it'll continue to flatten or maybe even dip a little bit next year. That said, if you own property, you're selling property, you're buying property in the same market, you're not winning or losing. It's the same thing, and the same happens. The same happens in any market, frankly. But here's the opportunity, and that's why I showed you about the detached, which was down 8.4%, I believe it was, and the condo and the townhomes being higher. What's the where's the opportunity lie right now? In fact, some of you probably recognize my voice because I've actually called you or knocked on your door somewhere in the area, and I asked you, not are you looking to sell? Interestingly, I probably asked you, well, do you know anyone who's looking to move into the area? Here's why. Move-up buyers have an opportunity right now. If they're moving up from a condo to somewhere in Willowdale or Newtonbrook, and I understand it's towards the higher price range, but there's still plenty of homes that are under $2 million. And if you're selling a condo, you're probably somewhere $800,000-900,000, maybe even $1 million, depending on what kind of property you own. Again, towards the higher end of the market, I understand. But nonetheless, move-up buyers from condo or wherever, maybe a townhome to a detached home, they are winning because their property, the townhome or their condo, is up, whereas that detached that they're buying is down. See what I'm saying? So the opportunity. Do you know anyone that is looking to buy in the area? So maybe you should give me a shout. upsize buyers. If you're in a detached property, town, semi, or detached, let's just say detached already, you want to move to a larger home, especially in the same area, that opportunity presents itself, especially right now in 2022. Please hear me. I've spoken to owners, I've spoken to plenty of real estate agents that have homes on the market right now. In the past month, I've probably seen 20 to 25 homes in the Willowdale East, Newtonbrook East area. And what I've noticed is agents have called me and said, listen, Andrew, do you have people? Do you have people interested? My sellers want to sell. They're not desperate. If they afford a $3 to $4 million property, they could probably hold on to it a little bit longer. But the reality is they're motivated to sell. Now, imagine if you're a buyer or you are living in the area, you know somebody who wants to buy in the area. They're coming from a smaller property that is appreciated and buying a beautiful, large detached home in an amazing area like Willowdale East or Newtonbrook East for a price that is lower than the price of 2021. How often do you hear that in the GTA? That's the opportunity that lies. And please believe me, that exists. And I've spoken to the agents that are listing these properties. They're saying, look, we'll sell this property. It's at a reasonable price. In fact, there have been price drops regularly over the past couple of weeks. So keep that in mind. And so with this, my intent is kind of twofold here. I hope you got some valuable information out of it. I try to get through these. I try to keep these simple and kind of free-flowing. And obviously, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to comment in the video, or you have my contact information. Call me. I'm always available. It's always me. It's not some marketing company that's doing it. My intent is twofold. I always want to provide value. So if you're watching this, you're probably watching this on YouTube, and I try to get out to the Willowdale and the Newtonbrook folks. Please hit like and subscribe, and you'll be notified when the next monthly Willowdale and Newtonbrook East market update comes up. I'll have the general GTA one, but I try to focus on this particular area that I like and enjoy it, and I had quite a lot of interest in. So if you hit that, it lets me know that I can send it over to you. Obviously, I'm more than happy to send it to you via email, so you have my information there. You can feel free to email me or call me. Give me your email address. I'll email you the market update every month as you like, and nothing else. No recipes, no birthday cards or Christmas cards, I guess, unless you want them. But please hit like and subscribe. I appreciate it because this is the only kind of content I do on YouTube, other than obviously listings that they have on the market. And I got a program that will notify you every time a neighbor's home hits the market. I've just recently started this. I like it. I love it. I actually did it for myself just to see how it goes. It's really, really great. And it shows what comes on the market, any price changes, and actually shows you the sold prices as well. And it's hands off. It's automatic. I don't send it. I don't have to go through it every day so you feel bad that I'm wasting a lot of time. I am not. Not that I'll be wasting it anyway, but it's free. And the link to subscribe to that, actually the link to the site where you put in your own information and you get the information is below in the information underneath the video title. So guys, look at that. It's free information. You can always unsubscribe. It never goes to anyone other than myself. I'm the one that gets information. And if anyone contacts you, it's going to be the automatic thing. Or if you need me to, it'll be only me myself. That said, guys, enjoy this. Hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to rewind, go to the very beginning, and take a look at the stats there. They're interesting. I personally put all of them in there, and look forward to chatting with you. If you have any questions, and of course, look out sometime in the beginning of November-ish. You'll have my November update, October numbers, and see what's going on with those interest rates as well. Thanks for listening, guys. I appreciate your time. Take care.